You know, I've just realized, I've mentioned the researcher a lot in these journals. It makes sense considering he is the brains of our operations. I guess it's appropriate I mentioned him next. The researcher was always a man who craved knowledge. Before he discovered magic, he used to believe there was no such thing as the supernatural. He was even one of the few people who didn't believe in the true gods. Before the days of magic, he used to be an astronomer. He would study the skies and the nature of the stars. But when he discovered magic, everything changed for him. He realized that the supernatural wasn't so unnatural. On that day, he was summoned to the Crimson Kingdom by King Yartage. He traveled to the kingdom on his own, hoping to find the resources necessary to study his newfound abilities. This is when he was brought into the castle by the king's guards. Yartage promised to give him everything he needed to further continue his research on the condition that he would share all of his studies and discoveries with both His Majesty and his comrades. You know, us. As the months went by, both the researcher and the engineer shared their dream of changing the world and decided to work alongside each other, guiding one through a field they didn't fully understand as the other would do the same. That stayed the same even after True Fear's attack and the discovery of the multiverse. Though, one thing did change. Knowing that other universes existed out there and that we were named Guardians by the Woman in Black, the researcher knew that protecting the endlessly growing multiverse would be impossible. So, he wanted to make something that could protect what we couldn't. He already started this project prior to True Fear's attack. In fact, the prototype was used against the true god but was destroyed right away. Back then, this project was made to keep up security measures throughout the Crimson Kingdom, but as time went on, the Turbo project had changed. Turbos are small, simplistic, man-made creatures created to protect the Crimson Kingdom and save other universes when none of us were available. They appear as floating spheres with smaller spheres as their appendages. Their color is always different, but most are purple. The researcher doesn't completely understand why the turbos have different colors as they're all made the same way, but it's not something to be concerned about considering there are no differences between each color. To keep the people safe or to face otherworldly threats, the turbos were given a large variety of combat options from hand-to-hand combat, bursting speed, rolling, and projectiles made of raw magic. While turbos are protectors, they are often seen as curious and playful. But how do they save other universes? Well, first it's good to explain what the turbos need to save universes from. Many years after the discovery of the multiverse, the researcher learned that universes can in fact die. You see, universes are like people. As humans, we need to eat food for nutrition and survival. If we don't eat food, then we'll get weaker and more frail and eventually croak. Food for a universe is matter. Matter is, well, basically anything tangible. From chemicals to gases to the crust of each planet and the people that live on them. If there is a lot of matter in a universe, then it will live for a very long time. But if a universe begins to run out of matter, it will begin to starve. New things must be made to sustain the existence of a universe. If not, then it will begin to collapse in on itself until there is nothing left. That's where the turbos come in. They go to dying universes and retrieve as much matter as possible and bring their remains back here. Since the Crimson Kingdom is all that was left of our universe, there's a lot of room for other planes. We can expand our universes and give the survivors a new home. But how can the turbos travel between other universes? The researcher couldn't find a way to transfer physical objects between worlds. Unless you're like us, as the keys have given us the abnormal ability to travel throughout reality, regular travel for most people is nearly impossible. The only normal thing that can leave and enter universes, and keep in mind this is normal in the context of our world, is magic, as magic isn't physical, yet still has the force needed to break in and out of universes. And, coincidentally, the turbos are made out of nothing but raw magic. To bring pieces of universes back here, the turbos use their powers to turn matter into magic temporarily to pass by the walls of reality. The turbos are a miracle for the multiverse, and they were only made possible by the man that once didn't believe in magic.